trying to fix my jacket.
Yeah, it's good. You know, I live
Back in your hometown, basically, right?
Yeah, I live right across the bridge, and it's amazing. I see a lot of my friends, actually. Two of my mentors are sitting right there in the front row, right there.
Oh, man. There you go.
Known me since I was 17 years old.
17?
Yeah.
Excellent, excellent. So let's kind of get into it. You know, it's kind of a late night. Just like Daymond said, thank you everybody for staying here. We're going to have a nice little fireside chat for you tonight. We got a few questions from a bunch of entrepreneurs around the world. And we'll get right on into this, and you can spread some of your big knowledge and information to everybody. When you started this company, Fubu, for us, by us, what was some of your, maybe one of your primary challenge that you had when you first had this idea, this conception of Fubu?
It was all of it. It was how do you, I don't know what I don't know, and even if I'm a good designer, how am I going to be a good manufacturer? Even if I'm a good manufacturer, how am I going to be a marketer? What legal components do I need? Because I've seen companies that, at that time, I was like, where do you even go? What type of, do you need a patent? Do you need a trademark? It was everything that I couldn't find in one place. And sometimes you go to people, you don't even know if they're going to give you good or bad advice, right?
Yeah.
So it was the fear of not knowing any of that. But now, like many entrepreneurs, I just felt that I was solving a problem that no matter what I was going to win, but I just didn't know the pitfalls that could potentially happen.
And how did you, at that point, like, you know, you talked about a couple of your mentors that are here, they've known you since very young. How did you start seeking out some of those mentors and that guidance?
Well, I started asking people who can help, obviously, and a lot of people did jump in and help. But even like, you know, my boys with him is the case, he was really good at numbers, and he told me the fundamentals of customer service and business, but he knew the fundamentals of that, but he didn't know how to manufacture clothes. That wasn't his area of business. So now I had to go and find other mentors who knew how to manufacture clothes and things of that nature. So I had to just keep, and I still, even till today, go out and seek mentors.
Yeah. Is that a big part of why you put the system together?
100%, because you have to constantly learn. And I remember, you know, listen, all my life I've tried to do, and somebody pointed this out to me, I didn't realize it. They said, you want to try to do something for others. And I said, what do you mean? He said, well, you could have named your clothing line Daymond John. I'm not sure if it would have went anywhere, but you could have tried, but you named it for us by us. You could have not written books about it being challenged with dyslexia. You didn't have to go on the Shark Tank or when you do your Facebook page and all that stuff. And I realized when I see a lot of people, they come up to me and they have this preconceived notion that you need to have $1 million or you need to do this and that. And I think that other people take advantage of that. They go out there and try to give you loans at 30%. They tell you to do all this and that, and they guide you down a wrong path when where is there a way to help people to say, you know what, if you're going to fail, at least you're going to have so much knowledge that when you start a business again, because you know, you may be catching somebody in the middle of a business right now. When you start a business again, you realize that you have all the fundamentals because I've given you this package. Because if you really look at successful entrepreneurs, they're on their 7th business before they start to see anything.
Right.
The first business they started off with, they had too much funding. All right, the second business, they started off with the power of broke, but their legal wasn't properly managed. The third, their legal was managed, the funding was managed, but they didn't have good partners. Then distribution. Before you know it, by business 7, you're like, yo, I know what I need to do now.
Now you got it.
But it costs you a lot of time. It costs you a lot of energy and money. And you know, listen, challenges. That's just what it is. It's challenges. It's part of life.
Right, absolutely. And let me ask you, like, so you started Fubu at what age exactly? Do you remember?
When I started Fubu?
Yeah. When did you start?
19.
So
I was 20.
20 years old. And you know, you're 24 now, so
yeah. What? My man.
How long was the journey, you know, for you for turning when you first started Fubu until now? Did you see that finally you felt like it was a good success? Like, how long was that journey?
Well, I closed Fubu 3 times. I first opened in '89, and I closed it 3 times up until '92. Because I kept running out of capital, but I only ran out of $500 or $1,000. And then I would walk down the street and somebody would say, hey, I bought a shirt from you last year, and I've been telling everybody about it. And the business brought me back in because I kept feeling really good about what was happening. I finally got public recognition with Fubu around 97, 98. Fubu was a global brand around really 99 to 2004. It was a heavy global brand. Even after that, I had a sense of security because I had now money from Fubu, but I also felt like people waiting, like they always wait for, I don't care what level you get at, people are waiting for you to fall, right? So everybody was saying, yeah, okay, Fubu, he got struck by lightning, or he hit the lotto, never gonna happen again. So I would go to offices and they would, and Fubu had taken a downturn, and they were like, all of a sudden the same people were making me wait for 2 hours, canceling meetings, didn't have time for me. I then went and acquired 3 or 4 other brands, and I failed at them. I failed at other brands on the way. I bought Ted Baker over here from Europe. I didn't open up the Ted Baker stores like they wanted, I gave it back. I brought the soccer line Kappa from Europe. They said the soccer was going to be big in America. It didn't take off at that time. I bought another company called Heatherette and another company called Married to the Mom. I failed at all those companies, but then I bought a company called Coogee out of bankruptcy, and Coogee started to come around and do just as much food. Then all of a sudden, it was a misunderstanding. Everybody started calling me back then. Now they're my friends again. Yeah. So what it shows you, no matter what level you get to, you're gonna hear, no, more people are gonna wait to laugh at you. I mean, how many people are laughing at you for being here tonight? Right? Raise your hand if everybody says you're stupid. Why would you do that? Meanwhile, they're broke.
Yeah. That's true. That's true. So let me ask you something. When you were dealing with those rejections, you're the people shark, right? And we see you now, and we see the success that you've reached now. How does someone like yourself, and what the lessons that you learned of receiving that rejection, like how did you handle it?
I took inventory of myself and I said, what do I do best? And where are my assets and where are my liabilities? And the saying is, your assets are what feeds you, and your liabilities are what eats you. And I was very humble with myself and knew that I didn't know everything. So what mentors I need to put in place, what education do I need, further education to be in there. So what did I realize? I'm not a great designer. I realized my assets was I was a great marketer. I knew all these celebrities, and I had manufacturing capabilities, and I knew the retailers. So it wasn't about making this design that was going to change the world. It was about ripping the Fubu off and putting Coogee on it. Right? Putting on as many celebrities or people who are notable, and then talking to the buyer and saying, just give me 6 months. I want you to start watching the videos and see what's going on. I'm telling you, you don't want to be that buyer who's not going to have Coogee like you didn't have Fubu the first time and you missed out. And I would see how do I place these things? How do I get them put together? And then I'd call those buyers back. And it was a relationship with those buyers as well, because they knew that I wasn't going to come to them unless I was prepared. So it's like when you come on Shark Tank, you see how many people are not prepared. They know what we're going to ask them. I mean, I'm sure everybody in this audience knows we're going to say, what are your sales? What are your margins? What's your distribution? Who's your customer? So I was very confident in that education at that point. And that's why I want people to keep educating themselves, because if you don't know who your customer is in your business or businesses, when an investor or even your boss asks you about it, they think you're an idiot. They're not going to tell you you're an idiot. They're not going to be Kevin O'Leary. They're just going to listen to you. They're going to listen to you and say, and you're not going to realize why you didn't get that investment or why that buyer didn't pick up your brand.
So I'm hearing a lot of persistence. I mean, you really were persistent in this. You didn't give up. You just kept moving forward on it.
100%. I was very persistent, but I was also backing it up with knowledge. I wasn't going through the room, sounding like an idiot and just saying whatever I needed to say, and all about, I need this for my business. A buyer or an investor or a boss, they don't care about what you need. I was trying to find a way to put a bow on it to present it to them because it's something of value that they needed.
Got it. Absolutely. Now, Fubu was comprised of a couple of partners, right? 5 partners, correct?
Total of 4 of us, because there was a 5th member that never stayed around. We went through 5 of that 5th member.
Got it. And are you still close with? You still close with the 4 or?
I'm close with all 3 of my partners. Yeah. I mean, Fubu's making a resurgence now, and we've been talking way more. We used to talk about 4 times a week. Now we're 40 times a week. So
nice. And I know a lot of us, we start out our businesses a lot of times with friends, sometimes family.
Yeah.
At what point in your business did you guys start having those hard conversations of hey, this is your responsibility, this is your responsibility? When did you start having the conversation, or when do you recommend you should have those conversations?
Well, day one, when they're saying that they want to be a part of it, because prior to day one, they kind of mess around and come with you to flea market or hang out with you when you're doing something and selling, and then when they really realize there may be something, you have to have that conversation, and especially if it's family, you have to say, well, what's your role? What's my role? I'm not going to give you a piece of this company. You got to earn into this company 2 months, 6 months, a year, whatever the case is. I'm giving you X amount. I'm not giving you, because listen, people's perception of what they feel they're worth can be totally different than yours. And you've got to have hard conversations in the beginning with friends and family and investors, because all you're doing is leaving yourself open for it to be a gray area down the road, and then maybe the business collapsed because some people thought they added more value, or some people did add more value. So it's usually it's day one when we establish, all right, well, you're going to work on this 10 hours a week for 6 months, and then that's going to give you 5%. If you want to buy more, there's another 5% there, or that's going to just give you your earning, and then after that you got to work another 6 months more. Or listen, you got to close 10 accounts. You told me you're a great salesperson. I need 10 accounts closed within 3 months. Yeah. And if not, then you told me you can do it. Then maybe we don't have something. Then maybe we'll set up something different. But it's a hard conversation to have right away.
Yeah, and like you're saying, the numbers never lie, right? And I got to say, speaking of numbers, $6 billion in revenue for Fubu, right?
Yeah, worldwide. Absolutely.